Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this I Am Enough hangout titled Overcoming Broken. I'd like for you to, right now, if you're just joining me, go over to the I Am Enough group and hit We Are Live. Go in the feed and share We Are Live. Hashtag We Are Live. I want to welcome you. I'm so glad that you're here with us this evening. I have a treat for you. I tell you, it's been a really, really busy week, and I've looked forward to this hangout all week long. And my guest, I'm just so excited because usually he's on the other end running things. But tonight, he is joining me as my special guest, the first male guests that I've had representing the brothers, representing the men, and I'm so very excited about that. My first hangout of this series was Kira McConaughey. She is the author of Fixing Broken, and let me tell you, she had an awesome conference this weekend called Time to Heal. And I attended that conference. It was awesome. And I want to tell Kira again, thank you so much. Her and Ed have just been, I'm just excited about this series, Overcoming Broken. And I've heard from so many women that that hangout was so powerful and people are still going back watching it. That's what I love about YouTube. So I tell you, we've got a treat for you tonight. So I want to, because there's so much that I know this person has to share. And anytime you go back and watch my hangouts, it's so funny because you're going to see his little face down there in the corner. He's literally a staple of every hangout that I have. And I'm just so grateful to this fella for all of his support and everything that he does and everything that he stands for. But he does really, truly have a bio. I'm going to read part of this bio to you because you need to know, you need to understand the caliber of people that I'm working hard to bring you. And this is free. This is powerful knowledge, these powerful stories, free to help free you because you are enough. I want to read this to you. His title is, let me just start here. You are going to love Dr. Ed Womack, the urban leadership strategist. He is the author of Back from Broken, Happy, Joyous, and Freed, a revealing and open autobiography of his life and transformation into the man and life transformer that he is today. Boy, are you going to see just that. Dr. Womack has shared stages with the likes of Dr. Willie Jolly and Dr. Ruben West at 72 Hours of Power. He most recently shared the stage with Dr. Dennis Kimbrough at the Billionaire Mastermind Live event in Atlanta. Yes, he did. And boy, woo, was that something. If you listen closely, Dr. Womack is going to reveal the bad, the ugly, and the good to restore your life, dreams, and aspirations. You will be empowered to overcome any life difficulty that you may have been through or are currently facing, and gain the ability to see beyond negative circumstances with faith and confidence. Boy, this bio is wearing me out. Over the next several minutes, you will discover how Dr. Ed used the proven 3-step MAD process to successfully put his life back together after an extended bout with frustration, depression, drugs, and alcohol. The MAD principles are mindset, action, and determination. By using these principles, Ed provides a roadmap of specific strategies and techniques to help you be original, unique, and immediately resolve to accept 100% responsibility for who you are and who you will be. Whether you're rebounding from setbacks or compounding your success, this message will be your GPS to make it happen. Your journey back from broken is assured if you learn to get mad. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be restored, rejuvenated, and raised up.
Oh my goodness. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, my brother. How you doing?
I'm better than most. Better than most. How you doing this evening?
Oh wow, I'm great, Ed. Let me tell you, I've just been looking forward to this hangout
Me too.
all
Me too.
all all month.
Why is that?
All month. Just to have you on this side of the camera is just amazing.
Well, I'm certainly humbled and honored to be able to grace the presence of I Am Enough, and thanking you so much, big sister, for just allowing and trusting in me and being a constant source of encouragement.
Oh my goodness.
Because this movement, first of all, I Am Enough, is amazing and very impactful. And for you to come up with a series that you came up with, this is just masterful. So kudos to you as well, sis.
Wow, I tell you, I couldn't have done it without you, my brother. So I want to tell you that, you know, I'm so excited for people to really get to know who Ed Womack is because he is comical. He is, but then he can get real down and just really down to earth with you. And as you're going to see tonight, this incredible individual truly has a testimony. So again, I want to ask you to go to the private, the I Am Enough movement group and post in there, Dr. Ed Womack is live. And I want to go ahead and get started because he's got so much, to share with us tonight. So again, Dr. Womack, welcome. And I want you to please tell the audience in your own words, just a little bit about you.
A little bit about me is, is very easy and it's very simple. I hailed from the great state of Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, to be precise. And I've had a journey that oftentimes has had some peaks, but it certainly had some valleys. And I come from a place of service that was for so long just suppressed, was for so long not being nurtured. For so long, I was silenced because I was in a war with myself, by myself, alone, despite the outward appearance, trapped within my own personal prison, a mental prison, not physically, but mentally trapped inside myself. And today, I'm just really grateful and humbled by the ability to be able to be restored, be rejuvenated, to be happy, joyous, and freed, and to be able to just connect with people like Tracy, connect with folk like Ruben West, connect with folk like Demetra Moore, share a stage with a few significant people, but most importantly, to be able to be of service. And the kudos that you provided at the top of the broadcast, Tracy, that's the stuff that really keeps me going, is being able to help somebody out, be able to pour into them, be able to lend a helping hand, be that voice of reason, on occasion offer a little lightness in the mood. So I'm just really excited about being in a position of service. And as an urban leadership strategist, it's very challenging, but it's so rewarding. And today, I'm just really delighted to be here with you to be part 2 of the Overcoming Broken series.
All right. Absolutely. The work that you do is just amazing, but I want to get into This you're the author of Back from Broken. I love the title. Even when I heard it the first time, I was like, "Woo wee, that's deep." And I want you to share with the listeners what Back from Broken is about.
So, Back from Broken is about my journey, which did not start out as a book. Back from Broken really began as an exercise in me trying to free myself from myself through writing. Oftentimes, when we're in a situation where we really don't know what to do, we don't know where to turn, we're not certain of how to unscramble all of the different thoughts that are going on within our minds. And so, Back from Broken actually started as a written exercise of me trying to purge some of the things that I had held inside, that I promised to never tell anyone, actually, that I wanted to liberate myself from. And what I found in the process was so much encouragement, so much insight into who I really was, and more importantly, whose I really was. So, Back from Broken is an autobiographical biographical work that also intersperses an invitation, if you will, for those that choose to journal along at the end of selected chapters with some very significant questions that we've placed inside of the book strategically. It was also an opportunity for me to share a platform with my daughter, Patricia, who's got a couple of poems that are featured in the book. And so, as part of my restoration process, it was getting reconnected with my family, most importantly, my own children, my former wife, and being able to become a reliable, trustworthy man of service that had to become whole again. I was able to get to a point through writing Back from Broken of really and truly exercising some of the demons that I had hidden, that I was ashamed of, that I felt guilty behind. So, Back from Broken is a really deep, and when I say deep, there are some things that in the second edition, I actually had to scale back a little bit. But I really wanted to just purge that poison out of my system. And Back from Broken is a lot of that. And it's done in a way to not get a bunch of kudos, but to really help liberate some others that might pick it up and read it and know that you don't have to walk through this journey alone, especially when you're coming through some sort of traumatic situation, when you've gone through some encounters that you're not proud of, when you've been subjected to some things that you figure nobody understood. Back from Broken is that book for you. It could very well help you to realize this journey doesn't have to be traveled solo. This journey can be very exciting. And this journey is now actually beginning to take a turn for the better, baby, because I'm now happy, joyous, and freed. But
Yes.
at first, I had to realize the path back from broken.
Yes, I love that, Ed. And I think it's Gandhi that said that our greatness lies not so much in being able to remake the world, but being able to remake ourselves.
Absolutely.
And there are people out there that absolutely need to know that at their lowest of lows, there's still hope. And that there's always, as long as you have breath in your body, that there's always a way to come out. And so, right here, Ed, I want you to, I love your transparency and the ability that you have to take us back to that place. And I want you to talk to that person right now. I want you to really share what broken looked like for you.
Absolutely. So, broken was a myriad of things. First and foremost, broken was overcoming the dressed up garbage can that I had become. Broken was being given kudos and accolades from coworkers, from other neighbors, from people throughout the neighborhood who from the outside thought that I had it going on. But what they didn't realize were the traumatic times that were experienced at home. And not by my parents, but by somebody that was very close to me, that I really looked up to, that I should have felt the safest around, that I held to a higher standard. And to have that very special person be the very person that was the greatest violator in my life that I've ever encountered. To actually have that person that you live with, that you looked up to, that you respected, to violate you in ways that were sometimes sexual, sometimes that were, again, very difficult to convey outwardly, because as a man, we have this standard that society places on us. We have this code that we're supposed to live by. And because I came from a family of affluence, it was very difficult to decide, okay, who do I go tell? Who do I express the pain, the disappointment, the frustration to? Where do I turn? And the answer was, at that point, I didn't know where to turn. So the brokenness really began very early on, at about the age of 8 or 9. And as I evolved in my own inabilities to cope appropriately, to cope with reason, to cope in a manner that was healthy, I found myself in a constant race, and not a race toward anything good. I found myself in a race to get away, in a race to escape, in a race to run away from whatever it was that I thought I was at that point, contrary to the outward attaboys, contrary to the things that were being shared with me about me, contrary to the championships that I had won. All of that was really a facade. It was great going through it on the outside, but the war that was going on the inside, which I could tell no one about, it created a sense of brokenness that really caused some significant valleys in my life. But I'm grateful for those valleys, because the good book, my favorite book, the number one undisputed bestseller on the planet, said those that he chooses to use, he will reduce to nothing. And so today I understand that, because now I'm clear as to whose I am and what my purpose is for being on this planet. You see, there's two significant days in one's life. And I don't know if anybody out there can relate to this, but the two significant days in one's life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. For those of you that are out there in the Facebook group, I need you to write that, put that out there, pay it forward for somebody. The two most important days are when you're born and when you find out why. And it was during my brokenness that I found out why, Tracy.
Absolutely. And you talked about the one thing that I think for women is, we're talkers.
Mm-hmm.
We will find somebody to talk to. Even in our pain, we might cry out differently, but for men, that looks a little different.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
very different.
you are creatures of, you're used to being in control, and to be broken, oftentimes, like you said, when there's no one, you don't know what to do, you run.
You run.
You just run. You're broken, and you're trying to get as far away from that pain. And you men tend to run, when there is no one, and a lot of times in our society, men aren't encouraged to talk it out. Men aren't encouraged to go find the help and seek the help, and certainly not when we were growing up. It looked a little
Right.
different. And
Right.
so I love the fact that you're just being so transparent, and I believe there's some things I'm hearing for the first time tonight. I know there are. And so I can't express to you the appreciation for just the good, bad, and the ugly. Really,
Absolutely.
honestly, because there is some man that's going to watch this, whether it's tonight or whether he watches this broadcast later, and will be able to relate and say, oh my God, there is hope for me. When I thought there wasn't, there is hope for me. So I love that. And you, yes, you dropped that on us. The two most important days of your life are the day that you were born and the day that you find out why.
And
So,
the
uh-huh.
other thing that's going to happen, you mentioned that there's going to be some men that are going to be liberated as a result of this broadcast. And I agree with you.
Yes.
But I also, in my sharing and in my book, offer some insight as to possibly, when you're running from yourself and you really don't know whose you are, you create pain for those around you. And what I realized in my journey was that an additional portion of my brokenness was all of the wreckage that I created in my family because I was broken. Not as an excuse, certainly not as a justification, but what I came to realize in the midst of my brokenness, when I had that moment of clarity and began to really and truly evaluate myself, began to share and seek out the help that I actually needed, what I came to understand is I also was hurting other people, my kids, who I'm so grateful turned out to be phenomenal kids in spite of me and my madness and my brokenness, And so there's going to also hopefully be a beginning of a conversation or the beginning of an understanding that sometimes some of the men that we see in society that seem to be broken, similar to myself or in other ways, there's oftentimes no excuse, no justification, but there is an explanation if they're willing to get to the bottom of it and really understand, that they don't have to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. They don't have to do it alone. And they certainly don't have to do it at the expense of others.
Oh, that is so powerful, Ed. And that's the thing I love. I wish, I hope, please, someone go and put in the feed. When you're broken, you create pain around you.
Absolutely.
And that is so powerful. And that is such a truth, and people often talk about, at times that oftentimes when their loved ones do time, they do time too.
Absolutely.
When your loved one is in pain, hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people, hurt people. Hold on. Somebody need to post that
Yeah,
in the Facebook group. Hurt people, hurt people.
yeah, they do. And it's a survive. It's the way. They're not intending to. When you think about it, do you actually think the people that love you, if they were healthy, would hurt you? It's what happened. And that's our reality. And then we have to heal from that. And once someone comes back from being broken, that healing process can look a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. But I want you to talk right now about when your journey back from broken began. I know there were some challenges, and I want you to share them, because that person out there that's struggling, that person that is trying to find their way back from broken, they need to know it's not going to be an easy road. But I want you to talk about what that journey looked like back, if you will.
Absolutely. And I am just reminded that it's not the critic who counts.
Don't
Not
you
the
do it,
man, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles
Ed. Yes.
or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena. And see, what I had to understand as I was coming back from broken, when I had that moment of clarity, it's not the critics who count. I shouldn't have been concerned with the noise, the possibilities of what someone else might have said about me, the shame that might have been encountered, but that absolutely was a reality. The guilt that I harbored and carried around with me, it was kind of like baggage. And like if you've ever taken, and somebody out there hopefully can relate to, when you go to the airport and you're about to go on a trip, chances are you're going to take some luggage with you. And that luggage, you're either going to have carry-on bags or you're going to have checked bags. And what I came to realize as I was coming back from broken is I was toting a whole lot of checked baggage. My carry-on was overweighted. I don't know, what are you carrying with you sitting out there in that audience of I am enough? Are you carrying around the guilt, the shame, the concern of what others might say? Well, today I want you to know it's not the critic who counts. For that person that might be struggling, that may have been just like me. And I'll share a little bit more about what that journey back looked like, and where it started was literally in a square of downtown Decatur, Georgia, when I had an opportunity while sitting in the square of Decatur, Georgia, sitting in amazement, looking at a pile of ants, a family of ants. Let me not say a pile, a family of ants. And these ants were getting it done. They were working together. They were moving and shaking. They were carrying double their weight. They were just getting it done. And at that particular moment, I felt so devastated, because I'm like, wow, look how amazing these ants are, which we oftentimes look upon as nuisances. But that day, I looked upon those ants and I said, wow, how amazing they are. And I began to explore the little things at that particular moment that actually helped me realize I needed some help. I needed somebody that would take my weight and help me distribute it appropriately. I needed the assistance of someone to get me to a destination that I couldn't see for myself. And see, I was reminded during that time that I couldn't get there all by myself. And there's this Indian proverb that says, when the student arrives, the teacher will appear. And that day, my teacher was a pile of ants. And what happened during that time was I decided I need to go get the help that I need. And I found my way to this magnificent facility in downtown Atlanta known as the Trinity House, Big Bethel. And the amazing thing about Trinity House, Big Bethel, is that it's a place that men with homeless issues and substance abuse challenges can go get the help that they need and be restored to independent living. And I absolutely am so grateful. And when I say so grateful, I mean so grateful to this one young lady who was just a godsend, who was my guardian angel that day. And her name is Ashura Walker. And Miss Ashura Walker, she came down about to do my intake, and she was about to come tell me that the house was full. But as she came down to get me to provide me this information, I just simply stood up and shook her hand. And from that point forward, that became her testimony of how she encountered that woman. She's like, nobody else has done that. When you just simply stood up. And what I want someone sitting out there today to know is that it's the little things. When you're coming through a situation, when you're coming out of that bad relationship, when you're contemplating whether or not to go look for a new job, when you're coming out of a circumstance that you just don't understand, that could be your form of brokenness. I pray to God that your brokenness was not an 18-month bout with crack addiction. I hope that your battle was not several years of silent depression. I hope that your broken is not represented in anything that's insurmountable. Because here's what I come to understand. As long as we are here, we have a chance. As long as we're here, we got hope. Because see, it's not the critic who counts. It's the man who's in the arena. And as I began to realize whose I was, I came to an understanding that, maybe, just maybe, there's something better out there for me. And so as I proceeded along the journey, because we've given enough homage to the bad, to the journey, to the brokenness, and I don't forget it, but I don't ponder there long. And what I want to share with someone out there today that's in the midst of their own circumstance, their own trial, understand that that trial is not necessarily just for you. That trial could very well be to save and liberate someone else. That trial could very well be the brink of your breakthrough. And I say that not because of something I heard. I say that because today I'm happy, joyous, and freed. I'm back from broken, baby. And the reason that I'm able to do that, and the reason I know that you can as well, is because you got to apply three principles. And these three principles that I'm going to share with you will allow you to overcome pretty much anything that you're going through. And what I need you to understand is you need to get mad, because it ain't bad, it's necessary. Now, fret not. Go ahead and post it in the Facebook group. You got to get mad. MAD is an acronym for mindset, action, and determination. And if I may, Trace, I'm just going to share just for a few moments on mindset, action, and determination, because the folk that are listening to this Overcoming Broken series part 2, they need to get mad. And it ain't bad. It's necessary. And the first step that you got to take is you got to adjust your mindset. You got to change the things that you're giving your energy to. You got to decide in a way that only you can decide that your mindset has to be adjusted. And depending on where you are, depending on the type of the journey that you are going through, as you begin to evaluate, are the things that I give my energy to valuable? Are the crowds that I hang out with uplifting, supporting, encouraging? Are the things that I provide energy to, are they really taking me to the place that my destiny or your destiny has decided that you need to be? Now, as you're going through that process, you have to understand something, that it doesn't have to be done alone, because our best thinking typically got us to where we are. I need somebody to post that into the Facebook. Our best thinking got us to where we are. But wait, there's more. There's hope. And I want you to know that one of the things that I had to grab a hold of while I was on my journey back from broken, in pursuit of being happy, joyous, and free, I got a hold of this little mantra that I say that oftentimes I typically end my presentations with, but I got to drop it on you right here. And somebody need to post this into the Facebook group, because I know somebody is going to need this. They're going to feel it. They're going to get it into their spirit, and they're going to be able to use it daily. I had a friend of mine that told me her son even says it in the morning. And one morning they were going to school, and her son said, "No, mommy, I'm going to say it myself." And you talking about a brother's heart just melting.
Yes.
It wasn't about the glitz. It wasn't about the glamour. It was knowing that the light came on for somebody. And it was a 6-year-old son of one of my close friends. And I'm going to drop it now. Y'all ready? If you got a pen or paper, or if you're in the Facebook group, here we go. Good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our best. I'm going to do that one more time, because that's so powerful. That's so amazing if you just internalize it, no matter where you're at, as you're beginning to adjust your mindset, as you start to do affirmations on a daily basis, as you begin to meditate, if you can quietly say to yourself, good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our best. I know that's something that's going to resonate with each and every one in the sound of my voice. Maybe not tonight. It might be on the way home. It might be tomorrow morning. It may be 6 weeks from now. I may never even see you. But if you can embrace those words and those phrases and begin to apply them in your life, what I came to find is that there are still going to be challenges, but the challenges are easier. There's still going to be setbacks, but the setbacks become a lot more tolerable. There's still going to be situations that you want to have happen that are not going to happen in the time that you want. But when you constantly are pouring good seed into yourself, when you're constantly pouring and nurturing into yourself, it kind of reminds me of the Chinese bamboo tree. It takes years before that tree breaks the surface. And before that tree breaks the surface, it still has to be watered. It still has to be nurtured. It still has to be taken care of. What is that situation going on in your life? That area of secrecy, that area that you can't come out and share with anyone, that area that you've suppressed for far too long. Today, I encourage you to come on out. Today, I encourage you to take a step boldly and come out of whatever that situation may be. Because, see, one of my surrogate mentors says this. He says, faith is taking that first step, even when you can't see the entire staircase. When I checked in the Trinity Community Ministries Men's Restoration Program, I had no idea that today, as I reflect, today, I went from a dope fiend to a doctor. Don't tell me what's not possible. I'm not telling you something I heard. I'm not bragging. But to come from a dope fiend that was strung out on crack for 18 months, a dope fiend that was walking the streets of Decatur, Georgia, a dope fiend that had no clue what was going to happen the very next moment while sitting in that square in Decatur, Georgia, gazing upon a pile of ants and not thinking any highly of oneself than that. But the day to sit before you and be called Dr. Ed Womack, the urban leadership strategist, what? You can't who? Why? I encourage you. I inspire you. I invite you to overcome that brokenness. Now, it's not easy, but when you begin to get those thoughts into your mind, it's going to require some action. Because, see, the real hit comes in the doing. The real fun is in the journey. I need somebody to post that in the Facebook group. The real fun is in the journey. And see, the journey may not always be fun. It may not always be exciting. But when you know that you're making progress, and see, that progress doesn't mean that you're going to have $1 million. That progress doesn't mean that you're going to be a superstar athlete. That progress may not even mean that you're going to have the best relationship ever. But that progress means that you're better today than you were yesterday. I need somebody to post that into the Facebook group for me. You need to be better today than you were yesterday. And that's part of that action that needs to constantly happen in small steps. And I want you to think of it like a snowball. And a snowball doesn't start out just to be a snowball. It starts out as a single flake. So take the small things, give them credence in your life, give them continuous, consistent activity, pour them into things that are going to mold and shape. And the next thing you know, you have a nice little snowball that eventually becomes something that's really substantial. And what I come to understand, what I want to share with somebody here is that you got to be persistent. You got to persist until you succeed. And as you're moving through the process of understanding that there's action required. As Tracy has shared with us earlier, if you don't like the circumstances, the situations, or the outcomes that are going on in your life, change them. Change them. Because once you put your mind to it, you can exact the change that you want. And then lastly, the last point, to be incorporated into the MAD principle, because MAD ain't bad, is necessary. You got to have some determination. And again, remember, it's not the critic who counts, nor is it the man who points out how the strong man stumbles. The one who really counts, where the credit really belongs, is to that person that's in the arena. And you got to be in the arena in order to exact the change that you want. You got to be determined.
Yes.
Which is the D inside of the MAD principles, the principle that I use to restore myself with the company and the assistance of a lot of other folk. You got to be determined. And one of the parts of that determination is you got to realize that you might have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Oh my goodness, somebody need to post that into the Facebook room. You need to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because see, the comfort zone that you're sitting in right now is very similar to the frog test. And for those of you that may not have heard of frogs, I'm going to just share that with you because see, what the frog test revealed is that if you actually put a frog in a pot of lukewarm water, the frog will stay there. He likes that lukewarm water. And if you were to turn the heat on, turn a burner on underneath that pot, and just gradually turn up the heat, the frog will literally continue to adapt to that environment, no matter how hot it got. I think somebody out there has been adapting to their environment for too long without challenging the status quo. I know I did. I walked through life for several years, not aware of how to exact the change that I wanted, not being willing to seek the help that I needed, not being willing to go against the grain of societal standards, not being willing to go against the grain of what man is supposed to represent. And I literally almost killed myself. I don't want that to happen for you. And for that person that's going through something today, you need to be determined to understand that you have the ability to jump out of that pot. Unlike the frog, as the heat's being turned up, as the heat's being turned up in various areas of your life, relationship, play, interactions, circles of influence, as the heat's being turned up, are you adapting or are you just merely sitting still? See, what happened to that frog that didn't adapt and just allowed the heat to continuously be turned up? It cooked him because he didn't jump out. He didn't do something different. I need you right now today to promise me that you're going to leave this hangout with a clarity and an understanding that I am enough. I can overcome the brokenness, and I too can be happy, joyous, and free. But you got to be determined. You see, because people are going to say things. People are not going to always be encouraging. And some of those people might be those that are the closest to you.
Wow.
As I coach clients, as I interact with different men's groups, one of the key things, and you hit on this a little bit, Tracy, one of the key things that prevents men from getting the healing that they need is our ego. The key thing that keeps most men from getting the healing they need is our ego. And that ego oftentimes can be used as an acronym, or on occasion can be used as an acronym. And the one that I choose to use, not impose this upon you, but I call it easing God out. Because we began to think of ourselves as gods. We got it all together. We can do it by ourselves. We don't need nobody else because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we've been told. That's what's been trained to us. Newsflash. It's a lonely place. It's a challenging road to have to travel when you're going through a traumatic situation. It's a difficult road to go through when you've lost something, when you've been abandoned, when you've been frustrated, when you've been devastated. But what I want you to understand is this, that you too can be happy, joyous, and free. And I know that everyone sitting out there within the sound of my voice is destined to be happy, joyous, and free. And as you're moving towards your goal, as you're moving through your journey, and you're beginning to exhibit that determination, you're going to realize, as Dr. Kimbrough once that said, was that if you're the smartest person in the room, you might want to find a new room. And when I began to find a new room, and I'm going to close on this one. When I began to find a new room, I found people like Tracy Ward. When I began to find a new room, I found people like Reuben West. When I began to find a new room, I found people like Willie Jolly. When I began to find a new room, I found people like Dennis Kimbrough. Not only did I find them, I was able to shake hands with, interact with, converse with. I was able to take a saying of a good friend of mine, Andy Henriquez. And some of you have heard Andy speak before. One of the things that Andy said to me was, or I heard Andy say, was when you stop chasing the wrong things, you allow the right things to catch you. And as you're moving through that phase of determination, you're going to have to eliminate some of the things that you've previously given your energy to. And it's going to be hard, but you got to do it. You're going to begin to have to alienate some people that may have even been in your life for years, but you got to do it. You're going to find yourself having to step into some circles of influence, step into some situations of discomfort, but you got to do it. You see, as part of that determination factor, what I found that I had to do was I had to stop hanging out with the people who only wanted me for the money and the means that I could provide. I had to stop hanging out with those euphoric instances or encounters that made me feel good immediately. I had to stop killing myself slowly by chasing all the wrong things. And today, I'm happy, joyous, and free. Today, I realize the wonder and majesty that has taken place in my life. Today, I want you to be happy, joyous, and freed. And I'm going to close today with that statement and that affirmation that I want you to hold on to. If you don't take anything else away from this presentation, this time together that we're sharing today, good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our best. But wait, I'm so confident that you're going to be moved, you're going to be liberated. I want you to take this extra bonus nugget with you. I see you at the top now because the bottom's entirely too crowded. Tracy?
Ed, you ain't gonna do my listeners like that.
What I do?
Oh my goodness. That was one of the most powerful messages I have heard you deliver. And there was times when I wanted to get in there and say a little something, but I needed to just let you flow. And let me tell you, that was so powerful. You shared in a way. I know I got special treatment tonight.
Of course you did.
You shared some very, very personal things tonight. I mean, literally, you sat right on my listeners' couches, I do believe, and delivered a very personal, I'm talking to you message. And here's what it comes down to. Listeners, you got a choice. This man has poured out of his spirit. He's poured out of his tender place. He's allowed you to see what back from broken looks like. And this is what I want you to do. You have to make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. Ed has given you the steps. He's given you the roadmap. He's given you that GPS. I don't care what it is for you. I don't care what it is that got you to the broken place.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is you don't have to stay there. It could have been a lost job. It could have been a lost relationship. It could have been somebody that years ago broke something in you. It could have been an abusive relationship. We don't know what it is, but it's you. It's you. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. You can do it. I plead with you. Get up from that broken place. You can do this. You got this. And I want Ed to come back now and share with you. There are some places, I know you want to know, where can I get this book? I know I've been hearing you. You've been asking it the entire time. I know. I'm going to let him share that with you. And also what I want him to do, Ed has been doing some incredible things. And there's ways to reach out to him. There's ways to get involved. There's ways to team up with him and his crew. And I want him to come back right now and kind of share some things. Ed, please, man, rise up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, it's a humbling and honored experience to be here with the I Am Enough platform. And Tracy, I'm just really ingratiated, and the ability to share, it's not difficult anymore. It used to be painful, but now knowing that there may be somebody on this broadcast as a result of this amazing 2-part series of Overcoming Broken that's going to be liberated, that's going to be freed. And so, again, I just commend you for having such an amazing idea and for allowing me to be a part of it. To connect with me before I get to the book, because the book is amazing, and not just because I wrote it, but it really has gotten great feedback. And I actually have two gifts a gift I'm going to give away to anybody that goes to manriseup.com. I'm giving away a free copy of the Ultimate Self-Improvement Guide, because that first step was mindset, right? And
Right.
so to help our listeners out, I want to give you a free gift. And I'm going to cost you nothing. Just go to manriseup.com. And there you can get a downloadable copy of the Ultimate Self-Improvement Guide. Even if you don't think that might be you, go get it and pay it forward to somebody else. And manriseup.com, thank you so much for the opportunity to pitch a little bit about manriseup.com.
Yes.
We're at a point of critical times where our males are an endangered species, and being spared from two occasions that might have literally taken me out of here. I don't take it very lightly that it's my purpose, it's my destiny to continue to serve. Service is the rent that we pay to be on this planet. And Man Rise Up is that movement. And for those of you that are sitting out there, if you got a man in your life that is one or two places, is either going through a traumatic situation or has been through some things and wants to just give back and be of service. So it doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you're on, Man Rise Up needs you. And I want you to reach out to those people and tell them, go to manriseup.com, get their free gift, the Ultimate Self-Improvement Guide, and connect with the movement. Stay tuned, because we got some amazing things coming up. Been gracious enough to be afforded the opportunity to really pour into some kids in in Detroit, which is my hometown. Was able to share a stage just this past weekend with Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. So God is truly gracing and anointing this movement, and we want you to get engaged. To get a copy of Back from Broken, you can go to Ed Womack Speaks, and that's Ed, W-O-M as in Mary, A-C-K, speaks.com, and just simply click on the store. And right now, for those of you that are listening in on the I Am Enough broadcast, I've got a specially priced book out there waiting for you. And guess what? I'm going to autograph it and ship it out to you with no shipping at all on you. So you'll just simply pay for the book. I'll sign it and I'll send it to you, and I'll pick up the shipping, because that's just how I roll. I take service seriously. And I really am so delighted and honored again, Tracy, to have had this opportunity. But again, go to manriseup.com, get your Ultimate Self-Improvement Guide today. And if you would like to have a signed copy of Back from Broken, Happy, Joyous, and Free, come on over to edwomackspeaks.com and get yours. And I promise you, I'll put it in the mail within the next 2 days. So thank you, Tracy.
Oh, Ed, thank you. That's what someone out there needs. And I'm
Absolutely.
so glad that you pitched it from a stance of, whether it's a man or it's a young boy, or if it's a teenager that that's struggling, whether it's his identity, he's trying to find himself, he may be making some decisions that aren't so wise, but you've got what they need. And is there just an email address or something, Ed, if they want to reach out to you directly right now?
Absolutely. So they can send an email to Dr. Ed at manriseup.com. That'll come direct to me. And you can also connect with us on Facebook at manriseup.com to follow the happenings, the evolutions that are going on, because this movement is actually taking off. I was at the Billionaire Mastermind Forum this weekend and made a number of additional contacts that are really pouring into me. Tomorrow morning, I'll actually be speaking on the Billionaire Mastermind teleconference. So go connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, Ed Womack Speaks. So get connected, because there's a lot going on, a lot about to happen, and it's about a movement. We're going to move 1 million men to that next level, y'all. in their life, work, and play.
I love it, Ed. Thank you so much. And
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you and be able to be in front of the camera tonight.
Yes, rather than behind the scenes.
Rather than behind the scenes.
So those of you listening, again, I want to thank you so much for attending this incredible hangout. I'm so excited that thank God for social media and thank God for re-records, because I have no doubt that there's someone that you'll be able to share this video with and it changed their life.
Absolutely.
I'm so looking forward to this. And I want to thank you all that have tuned in tonight. Share this video. There's someone you know. They may not have attended the hangout tonight, but you've heard something that you know will change their life. I want to bring you the best. Dr. Ed Womack is one of the best. Nobody can tell you like somebody who has lived broken. They've lived it, and now they're back from broken and they're healed. Because there's nothing like being healed from a broken place. And so I want you to know, as we end this broadcast tonight and we say goodnight, that I am enough, and so are you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, all.